Russian man like inside the dark, call me Bill Snatcher. Just the brother for the rapture. I hang live, holding on strong, hard to capture. Extravagant, resurrect the track and it's militant. And I react like a convict and start killing. It's manifesting. The God's work like appliances, dealing in my sleep like a lot.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Naruto Explain here, bringing you guys another discussion for Boruto Naruto Next Generations, the manga. And for anime only fans, this is the time of the month where a lot of the content that we talk about here on the channel is going to be spoiler heavy, so I thank you for your support. However, if you're still here, I'm assuming you guys are all caught up with the manga and you do not care about me talking about spoilers, or in this case, a speculative theory that's based off of stuff that takes place in the actual manga. So with that being said, let's get right into the actual discussion. So I'm going to be talking to you guys about a fan theory that was sent to me over on Patreon, which is the idea that Boruto Uzumaki, the only way that Boruto is going to be saved is that Boruto gets Sasuke to make the ultimate sacrifice. And this isn't something too unlike what we've seen in the past. There were a lot of theories when the Ishiki stuff was going on that I've covered, where it was talking about Sasuke potentially using the Reaper Death Seal, or Sasuke using Rini Rebirth to sacrifice himself for Boruto. The fact is that ever since we've learned that Boruto has had this Otsukification going on, a lot of people have been looking for ways that Boruto can be saved, because so many people refuse to believe that what Amato said, that there's no way to save Boruto from this fate. So many people don't believe that that's going to be the case. And so this idea came up in my Patreon DM, which is, what if Sasuke allowed himself to have one final act of redemption by letting Boruto turn Sasuke into his vessel? And I'm gonna say I understand why this idea would kind of be suggested, because it's an obvious solution as a way to save Boruto. However, the idea of Sasuke turning himself into Boruto's vessel has you pulling your hair out. I got the perfect solution for you, which is Keeps, the sponsor of today's video. Did you know that 2 out of 3 guys will experience some form of male pattern baldness by the time that they're 35 years old? The best way to prevent hair loss is to do something about it while you still have hair left. And I know from some of my analytics that 37% of you guys are in the same age range as me, which is 25 to 34, which means that if you're like me and hair loss runs on one side of your family, you're watching the hairline a little bit closely. And that's why Keeps is such a good solution. Keeps offers generic versions of FDA approved medications for hair loss, which makes it more affordable. Keeps treatments typically take between 4 to 6 months to start seeing results, so it's important to act fast. The sooner you start using Keeps, the more hair you can save. If you're ready to take action and prevent hair loss, go to keeps.com/Naruto Explained, or click the link in the description to receive 50% off of your first order. That's Keeps, KEEPS.com/Naruto Explained to receive 50% off of your first order. But with that being said, just want to thank Keeps for sponsoring today's video. When you look at it, the idea that like Sasuke would love his students so much that he would allow himself to be sacrificed to fully atone for all of his sins that Sasuke still feels that he's not atoned for, what better way to fully atone than to give your own life in order to save the firstborn child of that best friend that you have, who risked everything to bring you back, that friend who put his own credibility on the line to get you probation. This idea that Sasuke would do something like that for Boruto, I can see why that might be something that's thrown out. Now, I'm gonna play devil's advocate, and I'm gonna say there are a few things that we have to keep in mind here. The first thing that you have to look at is that when it comes to karma, there's a lot that we don't know. The fact is that you have to be compatible with the karma seal, and we don't know what it is that makes somebody compatible with the karma seal. It's not something as simple as they got to be this strong. You got to get a certain strength requirement. That's not anything that we know, because there's so much we don't know about karma. Jigen went through a lot of children, so many that Amato lost count of how many kids that he experimented on to give them the karma seal. It's almost like it's a crapshoot each and every time. Now, I understand Sasuke was the reincarnate of Indra, and so you would think that that would kind of bump up his chances of being able to survive the karma seal. However, I'm not too sure if there's going to be something like that, because you would think, given everything that happened when the Momoshiki battle was going on, that Momoshiki will look around and say, well, Naruto's got the Kyuubi, Sasuke's got the Rinnegan, Sasuke's a lot stronger, because why don't I take over Sasuke's body? just given the fact of how karma resurrection for Sasuke worked. They inherit the skill and the power, the knowledge and experience of the person who they turn into a vessel. You would have Momoshiki getting a whole hell of a lot stronger if he's taking over Sasuke's body and adding Sasuke's power onto his own and making Momoshiki come back even stronger and giving him Sasuke's Rinnegan abilities. You would think if that was something that was the case, Momoshiki would have taken Sasuke's body instead of implanting on Boruto. In the anime, we know that Momoshiki saw the Jogan, so that's part of it. But if we're just talking the manga, though, there wasn't much of anything special with Boruto, so we don't know if Sasuke survives it. However, let's just assume that Sasuke survives the implantation of the karma seal. Does this work from a narrative perspective? I'm going to say that's going to be good in terms of conflict, because all of a sudden, if Momoshiki gets revived, Sasuke being put in a position to where his own body is going to be used to revive his student at some point, maybe that works from a conflict perspective, because you'll be able to see the other reactions of people like Sakura and Sarada. You'll be able to see Naruto's reaction to a situation like that. The fact that Naruto was in a situation where he could have killed Momoshiki according to the novel, but he gave Boruto that chakra so Boruto could get the experience of being able to use a high-level ninjutsu on a powerful opponent. So maybe you could play with that. It's just that I feel like, given everything that's going on, Sasuke's got way too much to lose right now. We know based off of the Sasuke Shinden, the Teacher Star Pupil novel, the Sasuke Shinden, the Book of Sunrise novel, the Naruto Shinden Parent and Child Day novel, the Sasuke Retsen, the Uchiha Descendants, and the Heavenly Stardust. We know based off of all of these light novels that when it comes to Sasuke's family, number one, that's something he protects, but that's also something that he cherishes very deeply. And I'm not sure if we're in a situation where Sasuke is going to be willing to take a gamble like that, in that he doesn't know if allowing Boruto to put the karma seal on him, he's going to be able to survive it and then be able to leave his family unprotected from a being like Momoshiki. And then it becomes another matter of the fact of, if he allows Boruto to put the karma seal on him, given how close Boruto is to Otsutsukification being 100%, which we know based off of the anime, Katasuke tells Naruto that like, hey, I ran the data. If we don't do something, Boruto's body could be taken over by Momoshiki in less than a week. So based off of that, and based off of the last Boruto manga chapter where Momoshiki tells Boruto, you always knew those drugs were going to be a stopgap. They're not stopping me from coming out. They're not stopping me from taking over. It seems like we're getting closer and closer. And it's one of those things where you have to remember, if Boruto gives Sasuke the karma seal, Sasuke's karma seal is not going to speed up at the same rate that Boruto's karma seal did. If you look at it, it's one of those things where Boruto's karma, it was resonating with Kawaki's karma, and due to things that we don't have the answer to, Boruto and Kawaki, their karma progression just sped up in an abnormal rate. So it's one of those things where I'm not sure if Sasuke, if he gets the karma seal tomorrow, even with those drugs weakening after all this time that Amato's given him to Boruto, I don't know if Sasuke's karma can get 100% unpacked to a point where Boruto will be able to revive himself into Sasuke's body. I'm not sure if that's something that's plausible. I like this idea of Sasuke doing something for Boruto. I definitely see why this was something that was kind of suggested, just off of the fact that Boruto in the time skip does have Sasuke's cloak, he does have Sasuke's sword, and we know that he's got Sasuke's headband, so I can understand this idea. I'm just not sure of the how we get there and whether or not this is something that's going to be fully in Sasuke's character. I can see the argument for and against it being something that does or doesn't betray Sasuke's character, but for me, I'm going to put this in a I don't think so, but we need more information before we can come to a definitive conclusion. So I'm not going to say it's unlikely. I'm not going to say it's super likely. I'm going to say that this is a question mark, and while I'm tempted to say unlikely, if you would have told me when we first started Boruto in 2016 in manga format that Naruto would lose the Nine Tails and still be alive, I would say that you were smoking something. However, I mean, we've had worse curveballs that have been thrown at us in the Boruto series, so I'm not gonna say it's impossible. I'm just gonna say I need more information before I can come to that conclusion. However, I want to know from you guys, how likely do you think it is that Sasuke would do something like this? Who do you think Sasuke turning himself into a sacrifice would be more impactful on? Boruto? Or would it be more impactful on Naruto? Would it be more impactful on Sasuke's family? Let me know down in the comment section below. But as always, guys, like anything I had to say, don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, and share. Thank you so much for watching to the end. Have an awesome day, guys.